Some of our viewers, some of our friends out there they're a little envious. One of the viewers said "Oh, I'm envious of you, Sheikh Ehab, because
envious of you."
Yeah, because I get to smell all these things.
Well, they don't know about the open invite that we've put out.
Well, I told them. I said, "Why be envious? Just come." And
the beauty of the morning Oud show, guys, is that this is not something where I'm like Jay Leno or one of these people, and you need to be like a big shot to be here. It's like this is like. The reason we wanted Sheikh Ehab specifically to be here is because he is like an every man's man. It's like he represents the novice and the layman and the connoisseur and the rich and the poor and everybody, and he loves all people.
That's an honor for me to tell you. And you're right. And they should know that we don't. I'm sure you feel the same way. We don't consider ourselves above anyone.
Never.
Right? We're here having a good time.
Never. Right? We're here having a good time. We want to share these fragrances with everyone.
And so that I think is what's good about the show. And of course, some laughs every once in a while. Okay. Some of it is kind of funny to me. And some of it is.
For example, right now the plumber is on the phone.
And he's not coming to buy any oud. I can tell you that right now.
No, he comes to fix an oudi kind of situation now, from what I understand. It's like he's
okay.
There's a plumbing issue, so someone must have broken out the Indian Oud somewhere. Well, talk about a plumbing issue. It's like here we are talking about oud, and then someone comes in and says, "Well, oops, I have a plumbing issue." It's like, well, are you being sarcastic? And it's as if he knew. It's as if he knew that the oud that I had planned to share with you today is specifically Indian Oud.
Oh, yeah. My experience with Indian Oud. One experience I had.
You're not very fond of it, are you?
Well, actually, I don't know if this. I got it as a gift. So of course I couldn't. When he put it on me,
couldn't refuse.
I smelled it. I couldn't refuse, and I couldn't, show my expression when he first put the oud on. But that was only one. I don't know where its origin was. I have no idea. So I'm sure that there are different types, and coming from you, I'm sure that there must be something. Right. Not that you can get away from the smell of nature, right? But
well, the beauty is that, and the irony of it is that Indian Oud is actually one of the most beautiful ouds that you can ever smell. It's the most legendary, the most sought after, the most prized variety of oud.
Really?
Historically. And when I say oud, of course I'm referring to, like if we look at the etymology of the word, it's Arabic. It's an Arabic word. Right?
Yeah.
So the oud tradition is distinct from the Japanese Kodo tradition, in which Vietnamese oud, which we've burnt and heated and sampled before.
And tasted, I think.
And tasted.
Yeah.
Right. We've eaten kinam.
Yeah.
Right. But Indian oud, this goes back to oud as in like the Arabic tradition of oud, the Arabian aromas of the desert and like strong smells, because in the desert, earthy and like powerful, powerful, because you're talking about things that are like, imagine like the desert climate. And traditionally, you've got like camels, you've got horses, you've got these kind of things.
Right.
Very strong smells.
Right.
Very strong smells. The arid climate is not conducive to these soft, like citrus notes. Even rose would, I think, disappear like from the skin pretty quickly in the desert. It's like it wouldn't benefit anyone to put a swipe of rose when you're in the desert sun, right? So they would need something to conquer these aromas and to also like blend in with them in a perfect, harmonious way.
Yeah.
And the smell of traditionally fermented Indian oud is it. There is no stronger smell There's no stronger smell
from any oud except
from any oud or any aromatic, and like with like accepting like let's say like skunk extract or like even deer musk with its urinaceous animalic properties. I mean, if you put it side by side, a healthy swipe of Indian oud, right?
Yeah.
I think the oud would overcome the musk, the like just like the potency of it.
Yeah, well, it is. I can understand why some people might not take to it right away, because if you're used to living in an environment of all of these like rosy smells and non-animalic smells, right? And all of a sudden, you get something like that.
You got something straight from the heart of the desert.
Yeah, you're gonna have an initial reaction until you acquire, an appreciation or
exactly.
So maybe that was it with my shock, but or maybe I just didn't give it. I didn't have enough patience with it.
Or it could have been that the oud he gave you was actually something else, which is very commonly used as a substitute and a cutting agent with Indian Oud specifically. It's called the dioctophthalate, which is DOP.
Okay.
Short, and it's a toxic, like a plastic substance. It's banned in the EU from being used in like children's toys.
Really?
And it's a very highly, it's a killer.
And they put this in the...
They put this inside the juice, and you put it on your skin, and it gets absorbed into your body, then it goes into your liver for detoxification. And people don't understand that this is, that's just killing other people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Unfortunately, that's what they do.
Well, this is a good reason for all of our friends out there and myself to be careful what kind of aromatics you buy, right?
Yeah,
I
would say
anything you put on your skin you should be aware of what it is exactly, because obviously it seeps right in, right?
You don't want any DOP to go into your system. I tell you that much. It's a neurotoxin. It's carcinogenic, and it's bad news all around, whichever way you look at it. So it could be that the oud that he gave you was just a healthy dose, or an unhealthy, shall I say?
I think
unhealthy dose.
If that's the case.
DOP, and you were like, wondering where is this skunky cheese note coming from, and it's just that. It's this badly fermented.
Well, I'm sure I'll find out today. But what I was smelling.
Yes, you will. Now, I want to tell you that part of my role in this oud world, what it has been, is to be an ambassador between the East and the West. So what I did in the beginning is I started going to these Chinese masters, and I started learning from them their aesthetic. Right. See, my departure point was an Arabian, like I started with the Gulf oud souk smells, right?
Okay.
But then quickly it was just through sheer destiny. I was introduced to these seafoods in the Far East, and if you put anything fermented on their skin, you'll see them. They'll just rush for the nearest like a dishwashing liquid bottle, and they'll just scrub it off. As if you've put like proper like feces, Really.
Yeah.
They are really repelled by it.
Okay.
They abhor it. They detest it. They say. I'm sorry for saying it, but this just, you have to get the reaction. Like they say that is the shit smell.
Oh.
So I would tell my teacher, for example, I want to give you some Indian oud. I had a fantastic from Bhutan, like very rare, That's the SHIT smell. I don't bring that anywhere near me.
Oh.
And you just can't get that point across unless you relay that expression. I'm sorry about that, but it's just it's known that the two don't converge. The two aesthetics, the two cultures, the two traditions do not converge. The Japanese and the Arabian cannot find a meeting point. So what I did is that I took this aesthetic of the Chinese and the Japanese, and I took these materials that were traditionally treated, for the Arabian market, and I started experimenting with, let's reduce the fermentation. First of all, let's change the types of water. In the beginning, let's change the soaking drum materials. Like we moved from plastic, we experimented with clay, we experimented with ceramic. We experimented with different types of stones, like where to soak copper, let's soak in copper, for example, right?
Okay.
And one thing that we found is that you will not find any kind of treatment of agarwood that is acceptable to the Japanese that involves any amount of soaking.
No.
Now, once you remove the soaking, it's like you're removing those facets that make this oud desert friendly. So now you see the aesthetic of the desert, the rough climate, the strong, raunchy juice, these heady oriental, i.e. Arabian attars.
Yeah.
Very strong, very potent, and if you put that on a seafood, like a Kiara, a Kodo master, for example, he will recoil in horror. I mean, you will see his face, he'll be like, he might be very polite, or he might be like my teacher, just tell you to get out. Really, he's not known to be a friendly guy. He's actually pretty much like a misanthrope. Like, he doesn't like people. It's like, what? You're opposite, actually. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like guests. He doesn't like questions. He doesn't like. So imagine someone coming with Indian Oud, which is some of the mistakes that I made in the beginning.
Yeah.
He would run for the sink.
Almost like an insult.
Like not almost like properly an insult. And so he would run for the sink, get the scrubbing sponge, and the dish soap, and just like wash it completely, and it would still be there. And for him, it would be like, he would make this face like, why did you do that to me?
Yeah.
And like, people, pay a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
So, what would an Indian oud that was distilled by such a master smell like? That's the question that I want to present today.
Okay.
Is Indian Oud inherently fecal? Does the word fecal and oud, I mean, is there anything that is like naturally, like, intrinsic in the tree that has this fecal character to it? Or is that something that is superimposed, something that is like forced upon this aromatic through the treatment and the preparation methods?
I see. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Question to put forth. And because I've never heard. I never heard fecal in association with Indian Oud, until that brother put some on, and I said, wow. I've heard animalic, but that's not the same as fecal.
No, I mean, it's properly fecal. I mean, I've people, and it's a misconception to a large degree that it's supposed to be like proper human feces. Like you see some natural, like the niche perfumers today.
Okay.
What they do is that they use components and aromatics that are meant to imitate the scent of human excrement, in order to evoke these associations of Indian Oud, because that's what, obviously they have no understanding of Oud whatsoever. Whatsoever. There is nothing in Indian Oud that has anything to do with something that you can call fecal.
Yeah.
There's no overlap, there's no correlation whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
So without further ado, actually I forgot to say, are you ready?
Well, I didn't smell it yet.
All right. Are you ready?
I think so, as ready as I can be.
All right, let's go.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be much better than what I smelled before.
Go for it.
Okay. Now, what is this?
Now, this is an oud from the border of India and China.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite Indian ouds.
This smells nothing like the Indian Oud that I
Smelled before.
Nothing.
I mean, do you feel like this? There's almost like a zesty, tangy orange citrusy, like orange peel.
Yeah.
That is the facets of the Chinese Aquilaria, which is must be some kind of crossbreed that is found right along the border.
I think.
Exactly.
So it as it goes further into India, then it'll change.
It'll change slightly. It'll become, as it becomes the purebred agalokas that are found in India, you'll get this more white flower, petal, pollen kind of scent.
I see.
Yes.
No, definitely smells nice, smells earthy, to a little bit, but the tangy, like you said, fruity type thing. I can smell
Almost facets of the Vietnamese ouds that we've smelled before.
Yeah.
You know, like almost there's like a slight correlation between this profile and the Vietnamese profiles, like the Gualam de Guillaume, for example, if you remember that oil.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Yeah. But this is nice. It's nice, yeah.
Would you wear something like this?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, it smells nothing like what I had tried before and I had gotten as a gift.
Right.
Nothing.
Let me see. Wow, that's pretty tough.
Seems like it hasn't been opened in a while.
Let me see if I can refresh your memory.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not going to refresh my memory too much. No, it doesn't smell, it smells more cheesy actually.
Cheesy?
Yeah, it's got that.
You wouldn't call this Fecal or
No, not at all.
barnyard?
No, a little bit, but it more has like the feta cheese.
Feta cheese, no, yes.
Yeah. But quite different than
what you smell.
Oh.
If you inhale to the core of it, if you like take a deep breath, you find that as you smell deeply, you get this like the heart of the wood is there. And those are those desert sniffs. Like imagine riding a camel or a horse in the desert, for example, and you need something this rambunctious, this like heady, this overwhelming, so that you can actually smell it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put this, it's like
because you're not going to be walking around like this, obviously.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you did, it would be too strong, but you can smell it then as you're.
Do you get the powdery character of it?
Yeah, I can smell something like a resiny type thing. Yeah.
Resinous powderiness.
Yeah.
Kind of like
but quite different.
Quite different
than the first one. Yeah.
This is traditional Indian Oud.
Oh.
And this is from one of the most prized regions in India. This is from Nagaland. This oud has been aged for 9 years now.
Oh.
We distilled this in 2009.
Okay.
And it's known as Oud Musa.
Oud Musa.
Oud Musa, yes.
Okay. It's unfolding actually into much, like I can smell it now. It's not as cheesy as it was in the beginning.
I mean, 2009 Nagaland distillation has been aging for 9 years. A lot of those facets have like settled now, and it's become mellowed, mellowed down by age and by proper storage.
So when by aging it actually becomes mellow. It doesn't become more
stronger.
Stronger.
No, it'll become more mellow.
Oh, okay.
More rounded.
That's interesting.
Deeper. But it won't become more projecting.
Oh.
Like it won't. The silage won't just like go off the charts if you just age it. I mean, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by nature, it has that staying power. Obviously.
Of course,
right?
it's extremely tenacious. Yeah,
and so you'll be able to smell it as you're walking through the.
And the fermentation is what does that. I mean, the fermentation not only kind of like turbocharges the aromatic component in it, it also makes it longer lasting and farther projecting. It potentiates everything about it.
Okay.
Everything about it. Unfortunately, it comes with this lactic bacteria fermentation note, which you picked up, which you said is the cheese note. It's the same bacteria, the same good, gut friends that we have, like even in our intestines that make up our immune systems. They're responsible for sauerkraut. Probiotics.
Oh, probiotics.
That's what's making this smell the same way. You can ferment black tea if you smell like kombucha, for example.
Yeah.
It has a fermentation note that is not too foreign to this note. Obviously, the substance that you ferment is going to impact the smell, right?
Not obviously.
Cheese and black tea, will smell unique if you ferment them.
Yeah, of course.
But some of the lactic bacteria are the same.
Yeah.
Some of the strains.
Yeah.
There's thousands.
That happens in fermenting anyway. In this
Yes.
fermentation.
This is fermented, classically produced Indian agar wood oil.
Wow.
That's what it is.